Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Nicholaus Rainey.
I think that's all enough. I think that's good. I think that's good. Yeah. So as you can tell, I'm tall, really tall. And yes, I play basketball in case you were wondering. So it's 2010, and I'm 18 years old, a senior in high school, and it's spring break. My best friend Josh wants me to go to Kalahari Water Park with him and his family. I asked my parents, and of course he said I can go. I'm so excited. I always wanted to go to Kalahari. Kalahari is a huge water park, and I love to swim, so it's the perfect spring break getaway for me. But before we leave, I want to spend some quality time with my boyfriend. So I tell my parents that I'm staying the night at my friend Will's house, 6 minutes down the street and around the corner, when I'm really about an hour away in St. Clair Shores. I turn my phone off so I can spend some quality time, and when I turn it back on at about 9 o'clock, it goes off with voicemails, text messages, and missed calls. Voicemails from my parents: "We know where you are, come home now." And the text message from Will: "The jig is up, they know where you are." My heart sinks, my throat instantly forms a knot. I'm so scared. So me and my boyfriend get in the car, and the entire ride back to my house was tense and silent. We were both terrified of what was about to happen next. The moment I unlock the door, I hear my parents from upstairs yell, "Nick, come here." My dad takes my cell phone and says, "You're on punishment. You can't go to Kalahari or anywhere else, and you can't use your computer." My mom is quiet for a while, but speaks and says, "Where were you?" "My boyfriend's house." "So you're gay?" "Yes, and I don't plan on changing that." "Go to your room. We'll finish this conversation tomorrow." Now, my room would serve to be a comfortable prison for me. I'm so depressed and so upset that I can't go to Kalahari, I'm crying. I keep replaying over and over everything that happened and my parents' reactions. I'm so scared of what's about to happen next that I want to run away, I want to disappear, but I want to do anything but face and deal with my family. As I wake up the next day, I'm nervous of the conversation that I have to have with my parents. They tell me, "Well, now we'll have to watch how you interact with your younger cousins, because homosexuality is like cousins to pedophilia, and we don't want you to do anything to them." I'm thinking, like, really? Now that you know that I have a boyfriend that I'm attracted to guys, I'm just gonna go and touch my younger cousins? Why would I ever do that? But that's really what you think of me? And later that week, my dad sits me down in our living room and tells me, in the Bible, it talks about people with a reprobate mind and how God turned them over to the lustful desires. Someone with a reprobate mind is a person whom God has rejected as godless and wicked. I prayed a prayer that if God had to kill you to save your soul, then so be it. I'm more concerned with you getting into heaven than anything else. And I don't want to stand before God at the end of my life and hear him say, "Why didn't you do everything in your power to prevent this?" This was his way of justifying his actions. I couldn't articulate it then, but I knew in my heart that this was wrong. But as he always told me, as long as you're under my roof, you're my responsibility. My mind was going a million miles at once. How could you pray such a prayer? That week was the first week I ever thought about committing suicide. I mean, since I'm going to hell anyway, why not just end it now? But my best friend Josh has come to see me every day. I probably would have killed myself if it wasn't for him coming over and the little communication that I have with my boyfriend. Every day and every night, when my parents aren't around, I sneak and go on my PlayStation and talk to my boyfriend through game chat. They won't keep me from talking to him. Our love will always make a way. It's the Friday before spring break ends, and Will's mom calls my mom. "Hi, Mrs. Rainey. This is Miss Lanham, Will's mom. I was wondering if we could take Nick out to eat so we can talk to him and figure out why he lied about everything." My mom says, "Well, Nick, he thinks that he's gay, and I wouldn't want my son around someone who thought that they were gay." Will's mom is quiet, but speaks and says, "Well, does that mean he can't come out to eat?" Needless to say, my parents allowed me to go out to eat. I'm so happy that I can finally get out the house and see something new besides the four walls in my room. Will's mom and dad are very encouraging. They tell me there's nothing wrong with you. You don't have to change who you are. We love you, and everything is gonna be okay. The rest of that night, I kept telling myself there's nothing wrong with you. They gave me hope and strength, enough to get me through the rest of spring break. So spring break finally ends, and I'm so excited to get back to school. I never really liked school because I never did that well in it, but I feel like I just made bail and am being free from that comfortable prison of a bedroom. School is now my safe haven. I'm finding any and every reason to stay after school. I get involved in the drama club, and I got the leading role in a play, and I also joined a musical. And I joined the Gay Straight Alliance. And I opened up to some people about what was going on in my life, and everyone is very encouraging. In my drama class, we have to write a paper about what's going on in our lives during our senior year. In the paper, the last sentence I write, my parents don't fully accept me, all because I'm gay and I don't want to change. I never expected my teacher to really read it. I thought teachers just skimmed through the pages and that they didn't actually care. But I was wrong. About a week later, my teacher calls me and tells me that she wants to take me to lunch to talk to me. So we go to the school's cafe. She's very encouraging. She tells me there's nothing wrong with you. If you ever need someone to talk to, you can always come and talk to me. You don't have to hide who you are, and you don't have to lie about who you are just because some ignorant individuals don't agree. The whole time I'm trying to hold back tears because for the first time, I honestly feel like everything will be okay, that I'll get past this point in my life and things will get easier. I feel normal again. But then my sister's birthday comes, and it's April, and I'm still on punishment. Birthdays are really big in my family, so my entire family was over. But once all the festivities were done, everyone but my grandparents leave. Now, my grandparents are pastors of two different churches, and my parents are ministers and leaders at different churches as well. They all sit me down so we can talk. My grandparents are telling me it's a sin to be gay. It's an alternative lifestyle, and you don't have to live this way. I'm so over this conversation. I've had enough of people telling me that I'm in sin and that I needed to change. But since it's my grandparents, out of respect, I'm trying to listen. Then my grandmother speaks up. You've heard everyone else talk. You've heard what they have to say, but no one has heard you. How do you feel? I never gave them a full answer. I told them, I'm sorry. I understand how you feel, and I respect your opinions. I feel so embarrassed. I'm so humiliated. So they all surround me and lay their hands on me to pray. I'm not sure if it was an attempt to pray the gay away or what exactly it was, but nothing about that conversation to me felt loving or accepting. Although before they left, they made sure to tell me, we love you. Now that I'm back in the comfortable prison of a bedroom, I can't stop the tears from falling. I feel empty. It's like all the support and encouragement I gained from school and from people all got tore down in one night. I'm now back to that low point in my life, which is now all too familiar. Then my family decides that it's best if I go see a psychologist. I don't want to go, but I have no choice. The psychologist is supposed to fix me or help me realize that I don't like guys, that I'm not attracted to them. They picked a Christian psychologist, which I found to be biased yet funny because if there was really anything wrong with me, why not just pick a regular psychologist regardless of their religious beliefs? But my sessions with her were okay. At least now I have someone I can freely talk to about everything. Although every session before I leave, she makes sure to tell me, if you really want to change, it's best if you break up with your boyfriend. Because since you really love God, you can only worship him in spirit and in truth, and you can't be in truth and be lying. So I led her to believe that I broke up with my boyfriend. And my parents started to see the improvement I was making, which was really just me hiding things, reading the Bible more openly, and talking to them about more spiritual things. So my dad tells me, you can stop going to the psychologist as long as we continue to see your spiritual growth. Almost immediately, I stopped going to the psychologist because I found a way to pacify my parents, and I learned how to operate in secrecy and still date who I wanted to, but just not alert or alarm them as long as I lived under their roof. but for the next couple of years, I lived my life with that same mentality. About 2 years later, me and my boyfriend broke up. It wasn't because I was still hiding or anything like that, it's just the relationship expired, as they sometimes do. Finally, one day last year, I told myself that I'm not hiding anymore. I care about my parents' opinions, and of course I want them to accept me, but they probably never will, and I've grown to accept that. But their opinions are the only opinions I care about. I mean, I could care less about what society has to say. I'm 6'5" and a black man. Need I say more? And being 6'5", I just decided that closets are far too small for me anyway. It took me 22 years to accept myself and to love myself.
I love you, Nick.
I love you too. The place I'm in now with my parents and family is that I'm not doing anything to antagonize the situation, but I'm also not hiding anymore either. I'm not trying to force anything on them that they don't want to accept, and I'm not allowing them to force anything on me either. I see how my current boyfriend's family treats him and how his mom and his brothers love and accept him. Although even for him, it's not perfect. But I want the same thing for my family. I know that my brothers and sisters love and accept me, and I know that my parents love me, but as far as my sexuality, they just, in my opinion, ignore it. But regardless if they do or don't, I love me. I love me enough not to hide who I am just because someone doesn't agree with it. I'm no longer seeking validations for my actions or seeking validations or anyone else's approval. I'm freeing myself to be myself because no one is holding me hostage or keeping me from being myself but me. Thank you.